Hello everybody and welcome to Milan, Vento Nuovo Games headquarters for this brief overview of Bloody Monday, the last game from Vento Nuovo, actually on Kickstarter, already funded and entering the last 10 days of the campaign. So, as the title suggests, this is a game recreating one of the most important battles fought by Napoleon during the Russian campaign, and it is Napoleon at the gates of Moscow with Kutuzov forced to give him a stand and wait for a big battle just before Moscow. As we know, the after action of battle, then Napoleon entered Moscow. So in this game, which is an asymmetric game with two players with two different skills, features and characteristics, they have to play a very different in a very different way. So with Napoleon in charge of destroying the Russian army, while Kutuzov waiting for the right time to inflict a severe losses to Napoleon, forcing him to review his plans. So let's have a look at how the game is won and works. The game can be won in one of two of the following two different ways. As the game lasts for maximum 4 turns, each one representing 3 hours of the historical battle, the battle is won by the player controlling 7 victory areas, and the Russians start the game controlling 6, thus they just need to get Shelardino, while the French need to get all the other 6, which is really tough. So basically they have to deploy all the other 6 victory flags. But there's also another way to win the game, and that's eliminating 10 enemy blocks. So the Russians immediately win if they eliminate 10 blue blocks, whatever they are, while the French immediately win if they eliminate 10 Russian blocks. But, and this is an interesting point, small Russian units such as militia and Jager and Cossacks do not count for this. So the Russian can use them as a shield or sacrifice them in such situation in order to keep the battle going. What happens if none of these two conditions is met during the game, or when the game naturally ends at the dawn of September 7th? Well, the player controlling more victory flags is the winner, and if there is a tie, because this special triplet area is controlled by the player controlling all 3, so there is a chance in which this area is, an example, contested, and thus it may be a 3 versus 3. So in that case, the winner is the player with the most, which have eliminated most enemy units. If there is a tie, even in this case, then the game is a tie. So let's have a look at the first opening move of the French. This is an area game impulse based, so the French has the initiative, and this is represented by having the initiative disc with Napoleon. During the first impulse, the French may play an action which can be a pass, a tactical impulse, or a special impulse by playing the initiative disc. Of course, the French will not play a pass because a turn ends after 2 consecutive passes, so this is not the case, of course. And also the French do not want to spend the initiative disc immediately, because in this case the Russians could immediately play it to deploy more units, more reinforcements. So the French will play a tactical impulse. because they have to activate some leaders, maximum 4, because Napoleon actually has 4 stars, and they can command units of the same color or any units in the same area occupied by the leader once activated. So an example, Ni activated here can command these 2 units and all is yellow units. While, for example, if Eugene is activated here, it can command green units in the command range of 4 stars, to 1, 2 and 3, all is green units, plus the 3 units in the area it occupies once it has been activated. About movement points, we just have to say 2 things, that we have slow blocks and fast blocks. Slow blocks are infantry and artillery, while fast blocks are leaders and cavalry. They have 3 and 5 movement points respectively. Engaging costs 1 extra movement point, activating an artillery costs 1 extra movement point, activate a leader costs 1 extra movement point, and crossing a river costs 1 extra movement point. So let's have a look at how the game works and which can be the first move of the French. Let's say that the French wants to activate Eugene 1, 1, 2 plus 3 here. Then the French wants to activate Poniatowski. Let me make a check. I want to make something strange this time, just to have some interesting move. So, oh yeah, I can activate, in example, Juno 1, 2 and 3 to activate here. Then I want to activate Davo 1 and 2 here, and I want to activate Poniatowski. Let me check about Poniatowski. Yeah, I can activate, for example, Davo here and Poniatowski 2, because this is a yellow area, and 3 and 4 to activate. So I have activated 4 leaders, then I start moving my units. Just to be sure, I will put face down the units I cannot move because the proper leader hasn't been activated or it is not in range. Thus all the cavalry from Murat will be face down, face down, face down, face down. Okay, the guard artillery face down, and I cannot move this unit because it is a yellow unit from Ni, which is here. Of course, I cannot move Napoleon as well. So if I did things wrong, now I have all my units available. So let's start from the right flank, Poniatowski. So this unit is an infantry, 1 into a green and 2, 3 in a yellow. Then I can have 1, 2, 3. Then I can have 2 and 1. And then I can have 2, 4 and 5. Then I want to make this move, which is 1 and 1, 2. Then I want to engage with this unit here, 2 plus 1 to engage. Then I want to activate my cannon here. Then I want to move my cannon. Okay, I will do it later. I will activate my cannon here. Then I will send these units 1 and 1, 2 here. Then I will send my cavalry here to support the battle here, 1, 2, 3 and 4 to engage. Then I will send this infantry here and this infantry here as well. And then I will send 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I cannot because I don't have enough movement point. But what I can do with this unit is 1, 2 and 3. With this unit 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5 to engage. Then I can activate the artillery from Junot 1, 2 and 3 to fire, and then I can move this little unit 1, 2 and 3 here. What about the other flank? I will send this unit in. This is a yellow area, so it is 2 plus 1 to engage, and with the cavalry N, maximum 2 units because it is yellow. Then I will have this one moving, covering the flank, 2 and 1, 3. Then I will have this unit entering here. I will have this unit covering the flank as well, and this unit 2, 3 and 4 here. This unit here as well. This unit firing here, and this unit cannot engage because it should pay 1 movement point to cross the river, 2 movement points to enter a yellow area, and 1 extra to engage, so this engagement is not possible. This unit can be moved, for example, here, and I can activate this artillery here. So let's have a look at the combat. Each leader I have activated may inspire one of his blocks if in an adjacent area. Junot can engage Hammerstedt cavalry, Davos can inspire this guy, and Poniatowski cannot engage anybody because he is not adjacent, so his inspiration cube is lost. Artillery is committed 1 battle by 1, so first of all I want to choose which battle I want to resolve first, and I say let's start with Borodino, and I declare that the 4-corps artillery is firing into this area. So let's have a look at the combat. First of all, artillery fire, so I roll 4 dice, 1 die for each dots, and I hit at 4, 5 and 6. Oh, that's a carnage. So 4 hits out of 4. Now let's have a look at the battle. But first I remove the commitment cube and I reduce my artillery. Let's have a look at the battle. I have already inflicted 4 hits, but 2 hits are shielded. Sorry, 1 hit is shielded by the area because it is yellow and it is gone. The second hit goes over the infantry, which is reduced. The third hit goes over the infantry, which is eliminated. And thus, Borodino has fallen. I immediately put the blue flag. The Russians in this case do not have to roll any dice, but this unit, being a Jaeger, do not count for losses. So it basically remains here and it is not placed here to reduce the Russian morale. Nothing happens to the French bloc, as basically they have not even engaged the Russian because the Russians have been eliminated by canister fire. Let's have a look at another battle. Let's say I want to resolve this one now, and in this case I have 3 adjacent artillery, so I can choose which artillery should be committed. Sure, I want Junot artillery, sure this one, and why not this one as well. So I want to make an overkill in this case. Mind that maximum number of artillery I can commit into a single battle is dictated by the stars of my supreme commander, which is Napoleon, whose it is 4. So once exhausted, I cannot commit such a big amount of artillery into a single battle. So let's have a look at this battle. In this case, I have to roll 3 plus 4 plus 3, which is 10 dice for artillery, which is impressive. And in this case, I have only 2 hits. Then I roll for the other 5. Totally, I have 4 hits. 2 from this roll and 2 from the previous rolls. Then I reduce the artillery which has fired and I remove the red cube. So artillery cannot fire at this rate for all the game. Let's have a look at the battle. Here I don't have inspiration because this is a yellow unit, a yellow block, and Ney hasn't been activated. Sorry, is here. So let's have a look at the battle. First of all, the Russians have suffered 4 hits by canister fire. 1 is shielded by the terrain. 1 inflicted a loss to the Jager. The second one inflicted another loss to the Jager as well. Being a Jager, do not count for losses. So even in this case, an easy win for the French. Let's have a look at this battle. In this case, I want to commit only this artillery and this artillery. Mind that I could commit this artillery as well, but I don't want to waste it here. So I will have only these 2 firing into this area. 2 dice for Junot artillery, nothing. And 4 dice for Davout artillery. In this case, I have 2 hits. So I remove the red cube, I reduce both them, and let's have a look at the combat. One of my attacking block is inspired. So what happens here? Once again, I found a Russian Jager. He has suffered 2 hits from artillery fire. So 1 hit is absorbed by the terrain, and the second hit reduces the Jager. So now finally we have a combat. In this case, the Jager fighting into a forested area always roll first. So you roll 1 die. Oh! He scored a hit. The hit is applied to the strongest units, which is Ledru, and it is reduced. Then after, I roll with the infantry 3 dice. And I score 1 hit as well, which is enough to eliminate the Jager, because the shielding coming from the terrain was already spent. Nothing else happened here. Let's have a look at the last combat here, where I have Davout adjacent inspiring Friant, and I want to commit both the adjacent and already activated artillery into this battle. So I will roll 3 dice for the first one, which is the artillery from Ney, which has been activated by Junot, and I have 1 hit. And then I roll 4 dice for the artillery of Davout, and I have another hit. So again, I remove the red cube, I reduce the artillery, I remove the red cube, I reduce the artillery. Let's go to the battle. What do we have here? Oh, another Jager. So I have inflicted 2 hits. The first one on the terrain, the second one on the unit, which is reduced. But as we are in the forest, the Jager always roll first. Okay, not another 6. Then the infantry. My infantry, which is inspired. So it has triple fire because it is red, but it is rolling now at quadruple fire because it has been inspired, and in this case I roll 4 hits, basically erasing the Jager here as well. And the battle is over. What happens now? All my activated artillery is concealed. While all my activated leaders are reduced and concealed. So Junot goes to the heart level, and from now on it will be of any use in the game. Then I put up all my other blocks, and what I could do now is to expand the disc for a cavalry ride. So basically to play a second impulse, but as I don't have achieved any kind of interesting breakthrough into the enemy lines, I don't want to spend the special disc. So basically the French impulse is over. What happened during this impulse? Basically nothing different from historical matters. So the French have eliminated some Russian Jagers. They have taken Borodino, so now they have 2 victory flags. They have started pounding the right flank, and they are moving the center, while the cavalry is still waiting. and the guard is far behind, waiting to be called by Napoleon, just in case. So let's have a look what the Russians will do next.